Hello everyone, my name is Rafael and thank you for watching today's video. Today we go back to Division 1 and see what it's like in 2020. Division 1 came out on March of 2016, that's 4 years ago, so someone could argue that this is kind of an old game. Although, after playing for the last 2 days, I feel like I'm playing a 2020 title. Now, before I get into more details on why I like this game so much and how I felt playing it 4 years after its release, let's look at some interesting numbers. So here you can see the average amount of players who play this game every month and every month's peak. March of 2020 had an average number of players around 1,350 with a peak of 3,200. Last time this game had so many players was April of 2019. That's almost a year ago, and also 1 month later after the release of Division 2. Now, I don't really have a point to make here, I just thought that it was interesting that since the New York DLC came out on Division 2, which was early March, the amount of people who play Division 1 has doubled and reached the highest it has ever been since almost a year ago. So let's start talking about Division 1. I think that what's more important to a lot of people who are actually wondering if they should start playing Division 1 again is the matchmake, and I have to tell you that I had no issue at all finding other players to play with. Yes, I had to wait a couple of minutes, but if you take into consideration that this game is 4 years old, waiting 5 with 10 minutes seems okay to me. Although I would like to point out that I didn't matchmake a lot, I only joined 2 groups I think, and that's because I enjoy playing this game a lot more by playing it solo. One huge thing that makes Division 1 so special to me is the feeling you get when you free roam into New York. The way the snow falls, the small alleys combined with the sounds and the graphics of this game make an incredible product. Also, another huge thing is the movement of my character. I feel like controlling my agent is a lot more smoother than it is on Division 2. I don't know how to explain it, but I feel like on Division 2 there is more like, I feel like I'm dragging, so to say, my agent around. This is the best way to describe it. English not being my native language makes this a little hard for me, but I feel like playing Division 1, my agent's movement are a lot more fluent, so to say. This is not a comparison video between the two, but I may need to make some comparison in order to make some points here. Moving on, I feel like the weapons, the builds, the gear sets, the skills feel so well put together into a game in order to create this fully product, I would say. I feel like everything that there is in this game has a purpose. I have used every skill, most of the gear sets that you can play with, the build diversity, the weapons feel like powerful and you know which weapons are good and which are not, which I think that it was a good thing that back into Division 1 we had a few weapons that were in quotes better than others. I feel like this gives like a purpose to this game, a final goal, so to say, to grind for specific things. It makes me sad to say this, but I don't see something like that in Division 2. I haven't used most of the skills in Division 2 and I'm not interested in like 99% of the gear sets. Now regarding the end game, Division 1 compared to Division 2, I feel like it has a lot less to offer, or at least that's what I think. I might be wrong. Division 1 offers survival, which I never played, but I know a lot of people love it. And it also offers underground, which is pretty much running the same 2 or 3 missions again and again. The resistance, which is a nice game mode, it's a nice touch to the game and pretty fun to play with friends. It's again doing the same 3 missions for as long as you can. Although I feel that Resistance is a game mode which would be very useful for Division 2 for a group of friends who just want to have fun, you know. Other than that, the main missions of the game are very few, and incursions, even though are pretty challenging to do, feel like main missions. But, and this is a huge but, Even though Divisions 1 Endgame has less to offer than Divisions 2, I think that Divisions 1 Endgame is a lot more rewarding. And let me explain a little bit what I mean. The main reason for that is that even though Underground and Resistance is pretty much doing the same thing again and again, I would argue that both of these game modes are a lot more fun than doing control points and strongholds and I don't know, city bounties or whatever. But what's even more important to me is that while I'm doing those things, I have an end goal in my head. I know what I'm grinding for. Of course, I have a type of build into my head that I want to create, so I'm farming for it or whatever, but the end goal is to go to DZ. Not only for PvP, I'm not a PvP player. In Division 1, I love DZ as a PvE player. And even though something like that sounds weird, let me explain. I like the Dark Zone as a PvE player because I liked the challenge that it had to offer. I also liked it because Dark Zone was huge and I had more than just one option. In Divisions 2 Dark Zone, if someone finds me, my only option is pretty much fight. Back in Division 1, it was more like maneuver around the map in a clever way so you can farm while being unnoticed. And if you end up being hunted, you can always escape. And that's because of the way that DZ was structured in Division 1. Like I told you, I don't want to make this a comparison video. I will not go into Divisions Dark Zone any further, but in Divisions 2 Dark Zone, I feel like the moment I enter, I know that I have a timer until I have to fight for my life. And even though something like that might be intriguing to a lot of players, I don't like the idea of always being spotted, because I was playing with a friend the other day on Dark Zone on Division 2, and we realized that while we were farming, nobody bothered us, but as soon as we called for that extraction, every single player of the server came to that extraction again and again and again and again. Because of how small the Dark Zone it is, it allows players to maneuver and to go from one side to another real fast. When in Division 1, the exact opposite happens. You have a huge map and there can be like 10 rogues at the same time, but if you're smart enough and if you know how to play Dark Zone, you can avoid all those rogues and at the same time farm your loot, extract it, and have a great time, because while you're doing all this, you always have that little paranoia feeling that someone is watching you or that the rogues might come. So you have to always check the chat to see where people die, how far away from you, and open the map, make sure that they're not coming near you, and things like that. That's what I like about the Dark Zone. The whole like survival instinct, so to say, that kicks in, that sometimes you're like, you know what, I want to fight those guys, and you just go and fight them. But most of the time, for me personally, it was more like, you know what, I'm gonna try to avoid them. So I wasn't really playing at the other side of the map. I was playing, I would say, at a close range to them, but just because I want to get that feeling of like trying to avoid them and get that, I don't know, adrenaline kicked in, so to say. This video is just me saying my opinion, so if you disagree or you think that what I'm saying is stupid, you have every right to do so and leave a dislike or whatever. I'm not trying to convince you of everything or to prove any points here, just sharing an opinion. And I'm saying this just because people seem to get confused over what is a fact and what is an opinion the last couple of days. Anyways, that's pretty much it. The main reason that I love Division 1 so much, and I think that it's a great game to play in 2020, even 4 years after its release, is that it offers a unique feeling which I haven't gotten in any other game for the last, I don't know, 7-8 years. And even though it looks like it doesn't have too many things to offer, the Dark Zone offers so many possibilities and so many different play styles, which I think it's something that Division 2 lacks a lot. And that's what makes this game so special, that even after 4 years of its release, and even after a newer title of Division came out, this game is still unique, and I don't think that any other game at the moment offers the same experience as this game. Anyways, thank you for watching today's video. That's pretty much it. Make sure to leave a comment telling me your opinion about Division 1. Have you returned to New York lately? And I don't mean Divisions to New York, I mean the one and only New York. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like and to subscribe for more. It really helps me out and motivates me to keep on making these videos. Have a nice day. Bye bye.